Oh
Craig must
man,
not
Ray.
record.
It's been 3 weeks since we've seen each other. Isn't that crazy?
That's crazy. It's
Um,
almost as if I haven't seen you forever.
it's like we haven't been talking for like an hour. Um, so this is Untitled, Unfocused. I'm Tyler. That's Rayman.
Hey,
Um,
what's up?
so this is so so okay. There's a couple things we
It
gotta get
happens
off
to
top.
everyone. It happens, like it's bound to happen to people who make stuff like this. So like,
There's a couple things I gotta say off top. First, um, my Wi-Fi sucks, so we're probably gonna see some in and outs. That's okay. It'll be funny. Um, the second thing is me and Ray just finished recording for 45 minutes, and I realized that I was in fact not recording audio. Video was fine, Ray's audio was fine, my audio was non-existent. So we basically got through half of the episode. We talked about Mobile Suit Gundam and Summertime Rendering. We're not going to talk about it again because one, it's not going to be as good, and two, we're just going to kind of like recycle our thoughts that we just had, and it's not going to be
it's like
fun.
now I'm gonna say something along the lines of like they missed like the Wendy's 4 for 4 bit, and that's just gonna be
Yeah.
like
I mean, yeah, that's true. I was gonna say that we could bring it back, but I don't think there's really an
we
opening
can't
to
bring
bring
it
it
back.
back.
I'll have to
Yeah,
bring it back on another episode.
yeah.
The Wendy's 4 for 4 bit that was truly a gem of mine I came up with on the spot. Now they got it.
Just know that that was the best episode we ever made. You know what I mean? That was the best. Clearly,
The scuff made it better. I gotta write that down there. So
at least that's what all podcasts say when they lose an episode. They always say it was their best episode.
okay.
So yeah. So I guess just like yeah. So again, we're not gonna talk about those shows again. I will just say real quick that Mobile Suit Gundam, just to try to recap it, just so it's there. I thought Mobile Suit Gundam, very good still. I think we both agree that's like at the bottom of our fours, or our four shows right now. We both did really enjoy the latest episode, though, episode 15. A lot of good character stuff, moments that we care about, so that's dope. And then with Summertime Rendering, still on top, still popping off. Wendy's 4 for 4. And yeah, Ray mentioned that he believes there's like a shift coming. Most likely not in like quality, but just like shift from like the story up until this point, especially with how it ended with the final battle, quote unquote, and now it's kind of like in a lull almost. Which happens after a battle in any story, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, but both shows still very good, very excited to watch next week as well.
Yeah. And it for a little recap again for summertime, it's a bit weird because it feels like this is like finale moments and there's 10 episodes.
Yep. Me and Ray both had that even before we recorded. I was like, man, there's 10 episodes left. How's there 10 episodes left? Doesn't make any sense.
So excited to see where it's going from here.
Yeah, 100%.
Again, summertime is our favorite of the 4 shows.
Yeah,
so
definitely. I will say Nana, which we'll talk about right now. Nana definitely creeping up there, where it's like I don't think it'll end up passing it just because summertime is so like, so like gripping with like every episode.
Yeah, it's what we look for, like for like a smaller show. We like that. Like it is like a two core, but it's still like we like this type of story.
Yeah. Where like every episode it feels like something super meaningful and interesting happens.
Not as a slow burn too.
Yeah, so, and also not nearly the same type of show. So, but yeah, Nana, like we're talking about, doing episodes 10 through 15, still recording, so that's great. How mad would you be if we if we did all of this and I was like, so right?
We'll just have to really like say it's the lost episode and like never talk about this ever again.
Never talk about it, yeah. Oh man, we skipped 4 weeks, isn't that crazy? So Nana, very much enjoying Nana. I like. Okay, so I just gonna go through it. So their usage of playing the opening
They just keep
They
using
just
it.
keep doing it.
I'm not hating it though. I'm not hating it
And
though.
it
They
hits
just keep
every
doing it.
time. You know, where I'm like, they did it a few times in these few episodes, but most recently, in with Blast's concert, or their concert or whatever, they got up there, and I was like, oh, I wonder what they're gonna play. Like I really didn't know. Like I was like, oh, I can't wait to hear their music. And then the few chords hit, and I was like, oh, it's the opening, and I got like a little sad because I was like, oh, I've already heard this. But then they started playing it, and I was like, no, this is great. This is great. I love this.
They just keep playing the opening, and I'm not gonna hate on it because it's still a banger.
Yeah, it's still good. It's still
I
great.
need your love on the rocky roads. I'm
Yeah,
not gonna
just
sing
like
anymore.
that. Well, I mean, if you sang more, we'd probably get struck. So
Yeah, the strike. Yeah. Three sentences is the most you get. So I did too.
3 strikes and you're out. You know. Yeah. One small thing I do want to mention is Nana's mom. You know, there's a couple times where she
The subtle MVP.
yeah, where she was there. You know, she was there the first time with like giving her money, just like telepathically somehow knew that Nana was going broke and gave her money, which was great. And then in the most recent episode, she delivered her trap nest tickets, so that was cool. So yeah, I just want to mention that of like that is one thing I like about shows is when they have side characters or even like side characters that matter, you know. Like instead of having like the main 3 characters, like, oh, this whole show is just 3 characters, you know. So like the example that popped in my mind just now is did you, I believe you probably read this, I would guess, but
Perhaps.
have you read Love is War?
I've digested all of that series.
All of it, yeah. I feel like you talked about like finishing it because it did end recently, like the last year or something. But I've not read it, but I have been watching it. I haven't watched the new. They just came out like a Christmas movie or something. I haven't watched that yet,
Okay.
but that's an example of what I was just talking about because that show would be really good if it was just the 2 main characters they focused on like all the time. But they do have other side characters around them that have their own lives and their own like entanglements that really flesh out the show. And for me, I'm pretty sure it's like a 10 out of 10 show for me. So yeah, that's just like an example of like it's important even in slice of life shows to have a cast of characters rather than just 2 strong characters. So I like stuff like that.
I think you worded that pretty well because like it's not like Nana is like Love is War in the same way that they border on the slice of life as well as the rom-com aspect and drama aspect of the show. And like it weaves between them both effortlessly.
Yeah, no, I would.
Like Love is War is
agree.
more segmented, but Nana manages to like bob and weave through it.
Well, I feel like this one is more subtle. If we are comparing it to Love is War, because Love is War is ridiculous, like it's like super comedic. It's like even fourth wall breaking at times. So like, that one, I mean, still, I mean, like I said, up until this point, I think I've given every season like a 9 out of 10 or 10 out of 10. Great show. Peak rom-com in my opinion. But yeah, this one, like I said earlier, it wasn't recorded, I don't think. Maybe it was, I don't know. This show is like our most real show. Like grounds all of our other stuff. We're like summertime, sci-fi, Gundam, sci-fi, I guess as well. And then you have Barakamon, which I feel like is lighter than all of our other shows. It's just kind of like fun times, No,
it's just a feel-good show.
Yeah. There's no real consequences. But with Nana, I feel like this is one of the only like pieces of animation that I think they could do justice if it was live action. Whereas like even something like Barakamon, which we'll talk about in a second, it still has those like anime isms that I think would look weird in live action. But like with this one, I feel like 99% of it could be live action. So yeah, and that's kind of what, like I said, what kind of grounds it. Oh my god, throwing stuff. Also, I don't know what we talk about up until this point, because the craziest moment in these 6 episodes was two nanas outside. I forget where they were going. They were doing something, and then Shoji and what's her name, Sachiko,
Sachiko.
come busting out of wherever they were in, and it was like, oh no, this is happening. And then Nana, the one was like, hey Shoji, what you doing? Who's this? What's going on here? And then Shoji was like, this is my girlfriend. And at that moment, Ray, if you were a fly in the wall in my room, because I watched the episode this morning, I paused the episode, I threw my headphones off, and I had to like pace. I had to like pace around my room for a few seconds, because I was like, that is the most mad lad thing to do. To just be like, yeah, this is my girlfriend. What do you mean? What? How can you say that? Like, your actual girlfriend is right there, and then you and Sachiko have not, like, prior to this, he didn't even say he was gonna, like, he was literally in the moment of the first time he ever said, hey Sachiko, I think I'm gonna break up with my girlfriend, and then that's what caused her to run away. Like, we have not discussed this, so like from both ends, that is the most Chad thing I have ever seen an anime character do. It was absolutely insane.
We can hate on Shoji for a little bit, but he has at least that, you gotta admit though, just coming straight out and saying it, ripping that band-aid off as quick as possible.
Was it as quick as possible though?
I wouldn't say it's like.
Was it as quick as possible? He has been,
No, it wasn't.
he's been messing around
that.
a little bit with Sachiko for weeks, at least weeks.
At least a couple weeks.
Where like, he knew his own feelings, like, like there was so, like, he was like hugging her on like her balcony or whatever, and like ignoring Nana's phone calls. It's like, I don't know, man.
Okay, never mind. This guy's bad.
Yeah, like, he sucks. Like, I feel like there's some parts of it that are like, okay, like, especially in the beginning where it felt super innocent, where it was like, oh, I don't really have any other friends that are girls. She's super cool. Maybe you might get inside your own head of like.
Also, we'll blame Nana for the virtual Sachiko that he has also.
That makes stuff worse, because that was just like some weird like Nostradamus type, of like, oh, that's the name, but like, and like, I like what's the Nana's friend's name, the like super mature one?
I think it starts with a K. Am I wrong? I think I may be wrong on this one. Me looking up Nana characters on Google. Nana.
Isn't like Junko? Is that her name? Junko?
Junko's right. It is Junko.
I like her perspective in all this, because she's friends with both of them. She's good friends with Shoji. She's good friends with Nana, and I like her being super real with the situation and be like, well, yeah, it sucks. Like, yes, I agree that Sachiko or that Shoji should have broken up with you before he started, getting serious with Sachiko. That way we don't have a moment like this. But you have to admit, before this, you guys weren't exactly great. And I don't think Nana is necessarily to blame for any of this happening, but I do think both of them were lying to each other, or lying to themselves about each other, because I don't know, like, the whole premise for like her side of this anime is Shoji left to go to Tokyo. Shoji was even like, no, why don't you stay here? Like we saw those flashbacks, right? The first 4 episodes were flashback. We saw him being like, no, why don't you stay here? Like, you don't even like art. Why would you go to Tokyo with us to do like that right there would be the first red flag of like, wait, you like actively don't want me to go with you? Like, that's strange, and then we kind of talked about it a little bit throughout the episodes, but for all the little things that Nana does and like how Shoji reacts and like vice versa, like they never seem to be on the same page. They like never see each other because their work schedules, like,
they just never, and they never interact because they're always busy doing something else with themselves.
Yeah, like,
and neither one wants to kind of concede or give way to like join the other person.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, it's just, I don't know. It's like, you know, I'm sure relationships like that in the real world exist, where it's like, oh, they don't really see each other that much, but like the love is still there or whatever. But in this example, they're like not
There
even
was
together.
not.
Yeah. Yeah, like
It also has to do with like, so, you know, like she wanted to stay with Shoji for a bit, and then he's like, no, find your own place.
yeah.
It's like at least if they were like living together, that would have been different.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. And they're just like, you know, I don't want to like hammer Shoji, although I do feel like he is the worst one in this, you know, in this couple where it's
Nana
like,
yet, Nana also like is fantasizing about being with other men all the time.
and
But
that's
at least she's stopping herself every time. But she's like, I have Shoji.
exactly, that's bad, but
But then she's also leading people on too, being like, I'm going on different dates with other people, even though she's not saying their dates.
sure. I mean, the only example I can remember of what you just said is her doing that to get food,
Yeah.
which I
Well, to
thought
be
was really
fair, like
funny.
it's a pretty normal non-reaction, at least from what we understand inside the character.
Yeah. Um, Again, that's not great. That's not cool, you know. But there is a line with her where Shoji was like, "Yeah, let's just hang out and let's just us two in your apartment. Let's just hang out." It's like,
I will
that's
say, not to defend him, Sachiko did push herself onto him,
that's
but he
also
let it
true.
happen.
That is true. That is
He
true.
let it happen.
Um,
He didn't say no. He gave in.
yeah, and like again, I don't want to hammer him, but like there is that moment where um Junko and her boyfriend, I don't remember his name, they kind of talk to him about it and they're like, "Hey, you need to choose because we can see where this is going, and if you love Nana, because he even said, "Oh, I want to marry Nana." It's like, "Yeah, okay. Cap, you know? Like what?" Um and then he like sort of breaks it off with her, but then he decides to keep seeing Sachiko, and it's like, you know what your feelings are for her at this point. This isn't like the first day that you met her. Like you can understand what your feelings are towards another human being, and so for you to keep seeing her, it's like this is only gonna turn bad for one of them. Even if this was flipped, and it turns out that there was a moment where he was like, you know, had this like big dramatic moment, even in front of the other nanas of like, "Hey Sachiko, I can't see you anymore. I'm sorry. I'm quitting my job so I don't have to see you anymore. I'm moving to another apartment. That way I live further away from you or whatever." Like that would also
He
suck.
already is like, he doesn't live with her, which is crazy. He just like, they just go to the same college and then they work together,
Yeah,
which is
yeah,
terrible.
yeah. Which is like,
Yeah.
you know, he just has this big dramatic thing of like, you know, every single place that I see or whatever, I'm completely cutting it off. Um, that'd be a big moment, but it'd be like, okay, you stayed faithful to, or at least you mostly stayed faithful to your actual girlfriend. But it's just like, I don't know. It's just super crazy to me to be like, I have a girlfriend, but I'm also gonna kind of get another girlfriend. It's like one of them's gonna get hurt.
Like the guy had a like, I'm looking at the name now. It's Kyosuke. Had
Kyosuke, he's great.
I was thinking him with the K. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
He had a couple of good lines, and like one of them was like, if I remember correctly, it was like, because he was talking about like him being like they're both like talking about like, you know, like how he's a playboy and all that. There he was. He's like, he's like, why don't you do that anymore? He's like, I'm afraid of losing her. That's the
Yeah.
difference.
Yeah, because he
That's
was,
the difference. Yeah.
yep, he was referring to Junko, and he was like,
Yeah.
yeah, and like that's him like showing his love, right? Where he's like, I could never, because I love this other person so much that if I did mess it up, like that would destroy me.
Mhm.
And like clearly with this, we haven't seen too much of Shoji since, but doesn't seem
I
destroyed.
think Shoji's here to stay, dude. I think like this is how I view it. I think Shoji's gonna be a side character we're gonna keep touching with.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I mean, at the very least, you know, like he is still friends with Junko, and you know, so like that'll still keep. Um, I'm wondering how much more drama will arise from that, or if the show is kind of done with that, like if they're gonna kind of like dampen that. I'm not sure.
I think is a big thing. Again, we gotta like this. This is another part of Nana growth. It's like her being dependent on other people,
Mhm.
as I've seen so many times.
Which is, I'm glad you said that because that kind of rolls into what the next couple episodes are.
Mhm.
Like, it really hurt me, the episode or episode and a half or whatever, where she was clearly super jealous of Nana's fan, right?
Mhm.
Like her coming over and like Nana getting kind of close with her, and then even after that, or other than that, we have like Shoji gone. You know, we have Junko and Kyosuke kind of doing their own thing. You know, so she's kind of thinking like everyone I love kind of has their own thing going on, and none of it has to do with me. It's like
Mhm.
so she obviously feels very alone. I feel like that
And
was
like,
yep. Go
it's
ahead.
like her biting remark towards Nana, of course, at the end.
Yeah, yeah. And then the very end, yeah, for her to kind of snap at her, um, and not necessarily like an angry way, just like frustrated, I guess.
Mhm.
Um, for again, the words she said meant nothing. It was like the meaning behind them, because what she actually said made no sense. Where it was like, "Oh, you keep having her around here. If you can do whatever you want." That's like, well, I mean, she lives here too, and I mean, she's not really causing a
But
problem.
Nana understood what that meant.
Yeah. But it's like, oh, like again, not as deep,
Yeah.
because I feel like this, this is very clearly leading to, or at least in my mind, it's very clearly leading to the two Nanas getting together. Um, especially with how the one Nana talks, like in her voiceovers that she
Mhm.
does in the beginning of episodes, or like in some way they're definitely getting, they will get very very close, right?
Mhm.
Um, um, so so for that to kind of lead to this, for for Nana to seem super hurt, I like that sort of little button at the end of this as well. It's like, she had her voiceover and she was like, "Oh, I expected Nana to get angry with me," but she just
Mhm.
seemed like sad and like scolded. Like that never happened. We never see Nana like that.
Mhm.
I'd say maybe we see her like that when she's thinking about
Ren.
Ren. Yep.
Mhm.
Maybe, but like, other than that, so I don't know. I think, we you mentioned summertime rendering being a turning point. I think this episode is going to be a turning point for the show. It's kind of maybe lead to a new arc of our story.
I mean, if we really want Nana to be happy, like herself, the easiest thing would be to get with Yasu. Such a good guy.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. Oh, I don't think that's ever. That's definitely never
They
gonna
have
happen.
they, they have no feelings for each other like that though. It's just like
Yeah. Um, that's so great though. He hasn't really like been present in a lot of this show, but the little bit we get him is just
he's the
incredible.
best character.
It's so good. Um, let's see, what else do we have?
It's like there's like the 15-year-old kid who's just sleeping around with a bunch of girls.
Very shocking to me. Like,
Just
oh, this
brush
is
that
happening
over.
now. Yeah.
He's like he ran away from home. It's like we don't know what your home situation is. And he's like this is better. And then like this just stops that.
Yeah. And then even like that one phone call, which I think he got from a girl, like the girl was calling him,
Yeah.
and
And he's like, I'll just head right over. You just get the taxi. He just went.
yeah, he's like, oh, you're gonna pay for a taxi for me? Well, heck yeah, heck yeah. But like, you're like weirdly innocent, but like in on it at the same time. Like, I don't know how to judge this character.
Like he knows he has no money that he's making normally. And I guess his home situation is not the best. So he's like, if these women are willing to pay for like everything I do, he's like, what's the harm in being with them for like a night or two?
Yeah, yeah. Which, sure. I mean, I don't know.
That's the thought process. I'm not defending it.
Yeah,
I'm
no,
just
no, no,
saying
no, no,
that
no. I get it.
he's weighing in his mind. He's like, sleep with a girl and have her pay for me for everything, or be at home. And he's like,
And have her feed me.
And then like ever since he moved out too, he's been getting all the piercings. He dyed his hair. He's going full, dude. The
Mhm.
punk is real.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't know. This might just be like the real him. Like he's always
He can
wanted
finally
to.
be. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Which, if that's the case, great, great for him. You know.
Maybe he's like from like a real proper family, and they're always strict with him.
Yeah, yeah. Or like maybe his family sucks, and his family like
Nah,
is like
I
super.
used that one. His family, he's just super rich, and he just always wanted to be in a band, and his family's like, that's stupid. That's the backstory I'm coming up with right now.
I would qualify that as his parents suck. I was like,
Yeah,
like I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I would feel
crush you.
pretty bad if I had dreams my parents were like, "That's stupid." I'd be like, "Whoa, that's not what parents are supposed to do." you know. At least if it's stupid, like you gotta like articulate that in a like a logical way, not just that's dumb. That's so you're an idiot.
That's where they bring you to like the concert at like the deserted bar at like 2 a.m.
hmm
And then you see like a small stage of like 10 people. You're like, this isn't Nana. They would have been banging out. Blast is super good.
Yeah, you gotta make it. Have you ever watched? Did you ever get around to watching or reading? Bochi the Rock,
Nah, should I?
dude, like
I've seen a lot of memes.
yeah, yeah. Like there's a lot of memes. It did kind of become like a joke of like how praised it was, because like I think it won like anime of the year, or maybe or just not anime of the year. Won like anime of the season, I think, for that season, and people were like, "Oh, it's not that good. It's just I think people were upset because they're like, oh, it's just it's a cute girls doing cute things, right? It's like that genre that that's why it won. But
Now, hold up. That's always a good genre.
yeah, but like I okay, so for me, quick tangent. Bochi the Rock was a show that I slept on for like 6 episodes. Like it wasn't one I was checking for, and then I heard people being like, no, this show's legit. So I started watching it. I'm pretty sure I binged the whole thing in like like a few days. I was just like, this is I don't know. It's just really good. It's got the comedy, but it's also got a lot of like the emotional connection. It got like the nice friend group that I was mentioning, right? You gotta have a good cast of characters. It's got that. It also has like some
I'm just checking the
surprises.
season that this came out in. Go to the Rock. To say it's the best in this season's wild. I'm just saying.
It was really good. Like I don't remember this every show in the season, but I mean, if it wasn't one, it was like top three, like hands
Okay.
down.
I'm just gonna name the season to you.
Sure, go ahead.
Okay. Like this is the season that
Yep, go ahead. I'm
you
waiting.
have Chainsaw Man.
Yep, trash. Go ahead.
This is trash. Bleach started back.
Bleach. Okay, that's fair. I didn't watch that.
Okay. And then this is also the one where we get the ending of Mob Psycho.
Okay. Okay, so let's. Okay, that's fair. Mob Psycho banger. I'm not even gonna talk trash about that. And
We
then
can say top three. You can put underneath though. That's fine. That's perfect. So that actually
Chainsaw
fits
Man.
right there.
I have some thoughts about Chainsaw Man that maybe we'll talk about at the end of the episode. I got some thoughts for you on the anime, but also the manga. So be prepared for that. Go ahead, Ray.
And, like Blue Lock's here. I'm just looking, dude. It's
Eh,
just, that's why I said Blue Lock's here. It doesn't look really like.
Go to the Rock so far. Top two.
Nothing else here is kind of standing against it.
Yep, there we go. Top two. And
We could say like Akiba Maid War was kind of interesting
nah.
for the show.
and Mob Psycho. Honestly, that's cheating. So Bochi number one.
Mob Psycho's kind of cheating, which is very true.
I mean, it's the final season of like one of the most acclaimed shows in recent time. Like, Mob Psycho is a like 2020s classic show, right? Like, come on.
It's a banger show, and like the manga was already good. The anime just elevates it to the next level.
But like for real, if you do ever get time, you should watch Bochi the Rock because
Okay,
that was actually a show
I feel
where
like
I
that's
was
one
like,
I gotta watch.
I was like all in on it. Very good. I'm hoping they make more. They did make a movie that I didn't watch yet, but I'm hoping they make a show after that.
Roki the Botch.
Oh, and another cool thing is they do play around with animation where like they'll have like different little segments be like different types of animation. Very
I've
cool.
seen the one gif of her freaking out on the ground
Sure.
and the spaz out.
Yeah.
It just changes style real quick.
Yeah. 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 They do a lot of stuff like that. They have some like weird live action stuff, which is very funny.
Okay. It's definitely on the list. I will say so. I will push it up. Maybe like try to get that done within like a couple weeks, and we can talk more about that.
Sure. Anything for Nana? I'm trying to go through my notes.
I need you now.
I think that's pretty much it. The only other thing I do want to mention real quick, you know, going back to like the scene, Nana being like, "What are you doing? Say something. You gotta fight for him. You know that's your boyfriend." In that moment, right? I was like, "Fight for him? That is not how relationships should work. You have to fight for someone. You know, like, this isn't like a reality show competition where it's like, all right, me and you, we're gonna go head to head, and we're gonna give a PowerPoint presentation as to why
Dude,
Shoji should
it's
pick
more like
us."
it's crazy to me that Nana's more upset than Nana. In saying that sentence normally,
Dude, I like how
she was ready to throw hands. She grabbed him by the neck. She had the coolest cigarette stomp, drop, and then walk right
dude,
on it.
yes, the way that was shot, I don't know
Wait,
whose
dude,
idea
some
that
of the
was, but
I like you gotta wonder like it's crazy with animation to think that like these guys are just like free balling sometimes. like like they have like the panels of the manga, but like sometimes they just gotta do some stuff on their own, right?
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
like when you see like they're like bing, this is the insane shot that's gonna like really like no one's gonna really appreciate this unless someone calls it out. They must to make it look as fluid as that was crazy.
yeah. Like it was so good, man. I was so hype in that moment because just like you said, with Nana just kind of sitting there like freaking out of like this isn't happening, and then you just see a blur go past her, and then it zooms in on her fist with her ring. It zooms in on her foot stomping on the cigarette, and I'm like, yo, in that moment I'm like, yo, Nana is about to knock this man out. He's, like, to
She
floor
didn't throw
this
hands.
man.
She was going to throw
Yeah,
hands.
she was really close to doing it too, but then she kind of she restrained herself, and then we have we have Sachiko kind of holding her back, like, no, don't do it. But I was just so happy like how ride or die she was for Nana.
They really are that close, and they don't seem to understand. Well, I should say they understand it, but it doesn't really come to mind until the last episode how close they actually are.
Yeah.
They kind of just like they don't like I guess both Nanas didn't really understand until that last episode like how much they because like when the show started they were just strangers on a train. Let's be real.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think it is because they're so different, but I think it's also because I don't know, like that's not really what the relationship was ever meant to be. It was just like, oh, we're just two people, roommates, we have our different lives or whatever. And like, I don't know, just like different goals, different ways of life, all that stuff. Like, I don't know.
We still haven't seen Nana's workplace. She
That's
says
true.
she goes to work every morning. We still haven't seen that at all.
That's true. Yeah. She doesn't just do music. I mean, because that concert that we saw was their like first gig. So yeah, I wonder what she does. Yeah.
This. I think Nana, just from what I'm seeing here, we're only going up, and I think it's good. It's like summertime rendering. We're only going up.
Yeah. We'll say those two shows.
I mean, I kind of want to say for all the shows they're only going up. It's just that they're going up at different angles. Like IBO is like looks kind of bad. It's like this, real slight.
Mm-hmm.
But like Nana and summertime, they kind of just like exponentially rise.
Yep. Yeah. No, I agree with that. Yeah.
They go like nicely.
Yeah, and then with the most recent episode or two, I think IBO kind of,
Where we're going, it's rising a bit,
yeah,
you
yeah,
know.
yeah.
It's like, well, I can see the trajectory. Let's keep on it. IBO's a longer show, of course. Maybe the only show that's as long as that is like Nana.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Um, yeah, yeah. I mean, that's good, right? I mean, it's definitely better than the alternative of just like, it's all right.
I just gotta say, picking good shows, it's a good thing.
Yeah, so far, yeah.
Kind of weird to say as well. For Barakamon, we're already halfway done with the show.
Yeah, yeah. Barakamon, so we're covering episode 1 through 6. I don't know.
This is the first time we're talking about Barakamon on the show.
First time we're talking about it. Yep. I don't know.
We're already halfway done.
Yeah, because it's either 12 or 13. I don't know which one, but yeah, we are just about halfway through it already.
So when we're talking about this, we're talking about like literally beginning the show to the halfway point.
Halfway, yeah.
So there's a lot we got to touch here for poke at, but also like maybe not a lot because it's a pretty chill show.
Yeah, very chill, very slice of life. There are a few things to note though, like first off, the start of the show, for him to just hammer this old man was so
Straight
good.
up knock.
Was so
He's like
good.
your letters are bland and you should feel bland.
Said, oh, one of us is about to feel real bland. and hint, it's not me.
Power move. I gotta respect it.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously he shouldn't have done that. You know, he's a rising, coming up youth in the world of calligraphy. May have potentially destroyed his career.
Yeah, not a good move, but very impulsive. And I mean, at that point, it's like you've worked literally your whole life for this, and someone's just gonna come through and be like, B-, and you're like, what?
He's like, this is basic. This is textbook. And he's like, it's exactly why I did it. It's textbook.
Yeah. He said, oh, it's supposed to be an insult?
Obviously, he was insulted. Otherwise, he would not have punched.
Yeah.
But then it's like, it's the same thing though. Like you said, like he's working like so long. You know, how much years he does this. Yeah.
Who?
I forgot what I was gonna say entirely.
Oh, okay.
I had the sentence and it's gone. Gone. Just vanished.
Cool. Love it.
Ashes scattered to the wind. You know,
Just,
like,
yeah. Just like the first half of this episode.
Yep.
Yeah. And then still kind of keeping with the beginning right now. I do also like after that kind of how the real show begins, where he comes into his home, and it's just super hectic, like the opposite of how he's lived his life so far, where there's like people, there's like kids there, the like mayor dude, or like what's he called, like the village leader, I think is what they call him. He's like, he doesn't have a lot of like command.
I'm gonna get a snack.
Oh yeah, sure.
I'm feeling a bit peckish. You can still recap. I'm just gonna grab something real quick.
Yeah.
It's gonna be good.
Yeah.
Don't peek too much. I'll keep recording. It's on. It's just we're not muting the microphone. We're just getting to like, there you go.
Alright, so he's gone. He can't hear me. He's such a fool. Alright, I don't really have a lot to say about him, so we're not gonna do a bit this time. But no, yeah, we're not gonna get to like the super big stuff without him here. So, but yeah, I do just like how it starts. With it kind of being hectic and him sort of having to deal with these children. It's just like a weird way to get to a new place. You know what I mean? Because it's like, oh, everything's fresh, everything's new. You kind of want to just settle in, and no one will give you a chance to do that, right? But then it is very endearing because throughout the show, right, we just watched 6 episodes. You see like these characters that he was very annoyed with in the beginning, become people that he really cares about, right? Like that's why I love, kind of the most recent episode, where if you remember Ray, he got super flustered and he was like, "This is the first time I've ever cared about people like this before." It's a very nice moment. Everyone kind of understands why he flipped out a little bit. But that's character growth, right? Where it's like, in the beginning, he just wanted to be in solitude. He's like, no one talk to me. I'm gonna be in my home, training, training with the letters, all the brush strokes, you know, all day, every day. And now he gets to a point where he still really enjoys doing that, but he also seems to really enjoy his time with the various characters that he's known and he's met and known over these few episodes. I forget how long he's been here. I think recently he said something about being here a month, so probably something around there. So yeah, there are some cool things that happen. So I do want to say shout out to Naru, best character, love her. She's a little kid. Just she's just living her best life, you know. Just like she's just going around doing stuff, you know. She's selling seashells to people. She had the little ball of bugs in it. So she's like the epitome of just a child, which I feel like we don't really see too much in anime, where it's like, oh, we have like cute kids or whatever, but then you have like this just rambunctious child, having a good time. So she's cool.
A child character that's actually acting like a child.
Yeah, exactly. And then speaking more on like the town, I think it was episode 1 maybe, where all the townspeople just kind of came by and helped him unpack his house.
Mm-hmm.
No one said anything. Like the village leader wasn't like, hey, let's all go help him. It was just everyone heard that there was a new person here, so they're just
it's like something new moving in. Let's go meet and greet. Let's talk for a bit.
And like that,
we're all gonna be neighbors. We're gonna see each other every day probably if we're gonna go outside the house.
That I feel like was the first moment where he started to realize what this was, where it was like, oh, they're all just helping me out of the goodness of their heart. Like they're not asking me for anything. They're not gonna like turn this in as a favor later on. Like they're just good people. Again, very different from the world that he used to be in, being in the big city, Tokyo, and him also being in a, I guess, super competitive field of like calligraphy, which I never knew. So for him to be here, it's like very nice change of pace, something that he definitely needed.
Like it was like fresh out of school when he started his calligraphy, like really hard. Same with like the other character who's here. Forget the guy who won. He's like 18.
Yeah.
It's like similar. I know they got the prequel show for this. They got Honda-kun.
Yep.
Which is a bit different.
Yeah.
You get to see a little more of his antics. Right?
Yeah.
But the show illustrates it nicely. Yeah, he's nice to the kids and everything. I love you're right saying that this is more of an anime show than Nana. It's like the little things they do. Like we have the mangaka who's inside, she's a fujoshi, but she doesn't want to have that actually be like, she's denying it.
Yep.
She's like, I like to imagine men in relationships, even though it's not real.
She's the character that whenever she's on screen, I'm like, what's gonna happen? What is she gonna say or do? Because she's like, she's crazy, Like
I mean, like he's like Honda's like, oh, she's talking about how like, the guy, and she's like interested in dating him. He's like, he's a good guy. He cleans and he does all this, and she's like, he's at your house. You've seen him cook.
Yeah. Yeah, she's like freaks out. She's like, are those the kind of like what is it, like shameful thoughts or something? I forget the word she used, but it was like, is that what you think I'm like thinking about all day? And it's like, whoa, this is super innocent. Like, I have to freak out over it. It's all good.
Was it? I love her like when she's like saying that she's not a Fujoshi. There's the book. She opens it. She's like, that's scary. Then like she slowly goes back to the book and opens it back up. It's like, yes, I see.
Yes.
What do you expect?
Research.
Hold up, let's take a drink right now. The audio's gonna record this. Oh.
Just some other funny stuff. When Honda almost passed out because he like wasn't eating or drinking stuff, he kind of got off on the wrong foot with the nurse, And from that point on, the nurse did not
Let
like
me.
this man.
No. The nurse liked this man. She's like, I have a husband.
Sure. I mean, you know,
The nurse definitely liked this man.
to,
She thinks that everything Honda is doing is just to like get into an affair with her, which is definitely not the case.
no, not at all, not at all. He's like, what are you talking about?
It's like, I'm a married woman.
Yeah,
It's like, I just wanted an IV change.
Yeah, crazy.
It's like, get my hand on her shoulders, get my stuff. And she's like, well, stop, I have a husband. He's like, I'm not gonna, I just want my calligraphy stuff. Please just grab my brushes.
Yeah, you're grossly misunderstanding this. Let's see.
It's a real thing teaching kids like bad language. That's a real moment with Naru, where she's learning all these words.
Yeah.
He's like, what are they teaching you?
And like Honda like yells at the at the teenagers. They're just like, you need to be careful. Be careful what you say around her.
Naru clearly likes Honda, but I don't know if that's like child love or if that's real love.
Yeah. We see that even more so in like the recent episode, right? Where where she's like, I don't want him to have another wife. You know. So, oh, well,
Is it like child view of life, or like are the kids teaching her stuff that she's not supposed to know?
What do you think a wife is? Please explain it to me so I can understand what kind of love you think you have for this man.
I mean, in the think of like a normal sense, she's like always with him, hanging out with him. I can see her seeing that as like a child version of a wife.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like
She
that happens
basically
with, I feel like that's
takes
not like
care.
uncommon with little kids. Like kids like super admiring someone older. Yeah. I mean, I don't think she actually understands what it means to love somebody in like an adult way. She's just like, oh man, Honda's, sensei.
Love that they're like peeking at everything he owns, and they're like, we've only found one thing he has here, and it's that he just loves calligraphy. We cannot find any sense that he has a girlfriend whatsoever.
Yeah, and they like open up the like like picture book and like, oh, we're gonna see his secret girlfriend.
Some real Kakashi energy with the mask.
Yeah. That's crazy. Yeah.
The boat painting episode, catching the mochi is also a thing. That was a pretty inspirational part with the mochi catching.
Yeah, but like
catching nothing.
Yeah, like old woman was like, hey,
yeah,
sometimes you just you don't gotta always look up. Sometimes you look down and you get what you want as well.
Sometimes you don't get anything, but
mochi.
Sometimes that's how it is.
And yeah, even like the whole like boat painting one, right? Like you mentioned, of him not wanting to do it because he's like, oh, because in his mind it's gotta be perfect, right? And then the dad's just like, dude, I've seen your stuff. Like, I just want that. I just want it to be real, because I love what he says about Naru, of just like, I would much rather have Naru go up there and just throw something up than have some like machine company thing paint the name. I want something like human to do this. And yeah, that was a pretty early episode too. I feel like that was also somewhat the start of him breaking out of the whole like fundamentals thing. Because even when he was like super precise getting ready to paint the boat, Naru and all of them started putting like handprints on it. I feel like that's it's a very small thing, but it does sort of teach him to be a little more loose. Be like, hey, this is kind of the reason why that one dude said your stuff sucks, because it's too textbook. Like, it's too by the book. It's too color by numbers, right? Like, you have to inject some of you into this.
And then the fanboy is like, I love that. It's like, I'm like you. I love it like this. Textbook is good.
Yeah. You tell Honda's just like, no, you don't understand. You don't want to be like me.
What is it? His friend dude with like the eagle tattoo. when he came up, and then Naru saw him and was like, "I gotta draw my own tattoo on my arm because I can't compete."
Yeah, like a little doodle on his underarm. Yeah, that was good. Again, like like I said earlier, a kid actually acting like a kid. Like kid would totally do that. Like the first time they see someone with a tattoo, like they obviously don't really know what that is. They say someone has like a cool drawing or whatever, and they're like, I want to do that. So you draw like a little thing.
It's like she knows the value of the credit card, and she's like, "I will take this for the shell."
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I love that too. Where where the one dude was like, I'll take this one. She was like, you have exquisite taste. And he was like, all right, how much? And she was like, and she saw the credit card. She was like, 1,000,000 yen. I was like, yo, this kid is going to be dangerous when she grows up. She's going to grow up to be, like rule the world, you know?
What was it? I think I'll also use like the swimming episode again, where he's like, where he said that he started to care for people. It's like when she went to jump off and he screamed Naru, she's like, that gave me hope, so I didn't feel scared anymore.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, he's panicking out of his mind. He's like...
And she also flipped in the air. Like she was like she flipped head first, and like that was a cool moment to me because the music was very ominous. It was very, it was very like scary music, and I was like, oh man, this show's gonna have like a really bad moment right now, like someone's gonna get hurt, go to the hospital or something, like it's gonna be real. And then she flips and she does like a perfect like Olympic dive into the ocean, and she's fine, and I'm like, this show's crazy.
It's an anime show. This one's definitely a slice of life that's meant for anime.
Yeah,
and that's okay.
100%.
Him not knowing how to use the rotary phone, I was.
Yeah, that was funny. Yeah, because like me and you, I feel like just kind of hit the cusp of knowing how to use a rotary phone, like just there,
So it's like pretty much like our generation's like the last of that.
Yeah, like my brother's 5 years younger than me. I don't know that he would know how to use a rotary phone. Maybe,
You get a lot of things on the TikTok you can watch.
Yeah, that's true. I don't think he watches TikTok, but that was killing me as well. Where you're just like tapping it, and I'm like, dog, come on. Like, it's clearly a wheel. Like, you gotta spend at least like 30 seconds looking at something to, you know what I mean? Like, if any sort of machinery was put in front of you, there's a few different things that I would try to be like, okay, what does this do? What does that do? You know?
Let's give him a little credit. I mean, he grew up in Tokyo. Probably all phones are push bad there. I don't know what the Japanese cinema / pop culture's like to see rotaries.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, even in America, like, I mean, even now, like, how many times do you see a rotary phone in a movie or something?
Only watching like old stuff, really.
Yeah.
I still remember the projectors, the light projectors. It's a lot.
Yeah. I mean, I remember when my school first got the like smart boards. It was like a big deal in my school. It was like, dude, we got 2 smart boards. We're gonna be rotating them between the different classrooms. This is crazy. And now smart boards suck. It's like, why would you have a smart board? This thing sucks.
Just go back to chalk. Chalk is
Yeah.
chalk and whiteboard are universal.
Yeah, just use that. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, first half of this show. Do you have any sort of thoughts about what the second half could contain?
Honda dies.
Oh. Ooh. Rough.
Like, the old man comes back and just like pummels him with a storm of fists.
Oh my god.
He tracks him down.
He's like, what's that meme where it was like, while you were doing this, I was studying the blade.
Yeah.
It's like him.
While you were enjoying your time on this island, I was studying the blade.
But yeah, man, I like this because I definitely think it's going to keep going in the same direction, and I do think by the end of the 'cause I think Barakamon's only 1 season. I do think it's gonna end with him not caring and like him still being into calligraphy, but not caring about
Critics.
yeah, about like prizes or anything. Like that's why I do love that one kid came through, you know, the one that won first prize and was like, you came here and now you won second place. You what are you doing? And it's like, dude, you're who I used to be. Like I'm gonna end this not caring as much about like placements. And so, you know, I think Honda might even want to teach him that as well. Of like, dude, you don't want to go down this path because you're like, oh, I love the fundamentals. It's like, yeah, I did too, and this is where it brought me. Like, you're still young. You should like start like finding the love in this and not just like copying me or again going after first places.
That episode's pretty good too because it also ends with the kid being like, "Yeah, he's just gonna get better."
Yeah, which I thought was kind of a twist because in my mind, up to that point, he was like truly arguing with him and being like, "Oh, you gotta do that." But then in that moment, you see, oh, he was kind of like testing him a little bit or like trying to push him a little to like see his reaction, to see how he changed and like, because
Yeah.
at the end of the day, he still looks up to this man. So now him leaving, to go to this, like not farm. Just like small town is like that's a big deal. Let's like check up on him and see how this is affecting his like idol, right?
Yeah. He's like, nah, he's gonna keep improving. He's like, I gotta work hard.
Yeah. Which is cool, man. I wonder like if we'll actually see that rivalry happen, right? We have 6 more episodes, so I imagine we might see like one. It'll probably end with like some big tournament thing where he wants to enter it. Let's see how that goes.
Dude, I need a tournament arc.
A whole tournament. Next 6 episodes, tournament arc. But yeah. The show's pretty cool so far. First half.
Overall, enjoyable. Ranking of the show so far. I think we both have the same ranking where it's gonna be summertime, Nana, Barakamon.
Okay.
Gundam.
You hesitated there, which I was very interested to see where you.
I was trying to remember the name.
Put.
I was trying to remember the name. It was Barakamon.
Okay, Barakamon. Yeah. No, I'll definitely agree with that. Yeah, 100%.
I didn't just want to say calligraphy guy.
That's also acceptable. So we got. I do want to mention something to you, right? I did mention earlier I have some thoughts about Chainsaw Man, right? And I don't want to spoil it too much. I don't know if y'all listening have read or watched too much of it, but
now, are you caught up?
Me.
I think a new chapter either drops today or next week. I forget.
I think I'm literally like maybe like a few chapters behind, maybe. Oh no. I read everything except for today's chapter.
Okay.
Actually, there's another manga I might want to talk to you briefly about, but Chainsaw Man, right? So I don't have a lot to say, but it was something I thought about today, where there's definitely a difference between the manga and the anime, and I know that's like super like basic opinion, like it's just true about books in general, right? Like that's the whole thing of like the book was better than the movie, right? Like that's everyone thinks that way, right? But Chainsaw Man specifically, what I find interesting is I think what the anime lacks, and I still think the anime is really good, right? Like I still very much want them to do season 2 or whatever. I would love Chainsaw Man becomes like a big shonen show. That'd be great. But what I think the anime lacks, and I don't think it's possible for them to capture this, is the like uneasiness of the manga. How like certain characters speak in the manga, the like weird pauses in dialogue when people are having conversations with each other, just like some of the atmospheres in the manga. I just don't think they can bring that to anime to make it make sense. I feel like people would think it's too slow, for like visual content.
No, I get what you're saying there. The thing is, like, at least for the anime, a lot of that should be coming up in season 2.
Yeah, yeah.
So if season 2 doesn't kind of nail that down, that's pretty much
I mean, because
a big.
that is very much a product of the author, right? Because isn't that the same person who did Fire Punch? Is that the same person?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. So it's like that is like
he
their
loves that
style
stuff.
of just like, again, like I don't, I don't consider Chainsaw Man like horror. Like it's not that, but it does kind of borrow some elements from it. Where like there's sometimes I'm reading it and I'm like, this feels weird. Like I don't like how this is
Did
happening.
you read his other stuff, the other one shots?
Um, I just read the one, the Goodbye Whoever. Is that him?
Goodbye area, yeah, goodbye
Goodbye.
area.
I read that one, and again,
Okay,
that one also has that energy. I'm just like, again, it's I don't quite know how to explain it, but it is just like you're reading it and like you're on the edge of your seat of like not like you're not
okay,
like
good.
excited. You're just like, this is weird. Like I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
The only other one I think you need to read for another one shot is Look Back. It's way smaller than Goodbye Area, but
Okay.
that's it though. No, Goodbye Area is exactly what I was going to bring up though, because it's like the same idea, where it's just tense.
Tense. Tense is definitely a
Mhm.
good word. Yeah.
And like you're right, there's a lot of tension that happens in Chainsaw Man, especially because he loves to do in Chainsaw Man where it's just two characters talking.
Right. Yep.
He loves to do in Chainsaw Man, and they just talk, and then like a character will like look to the side for a panel, and it's just gonna be like that, you know. They're just gonna look to the side, and it's gonna have like no speech bubble. The next bubble, they're gonna look back, and they're gonna have like maybe like dot 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 or and then it's just gonna like it's. I see the bubbles. You're envisioning it. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's
No, I got you. I got you.
piece.
Yeah.
And that's like when you know something shifty's happening.
I just felt that's something that is so hard to capture in anime, especially with something like this where again I feel like if they keep making the show, they are gonna want to push it as like the next big shonen, like Demon Slayer, for example, right? Um, I want to get to like a very similar level as that. Although Demon Slayer is crazy popular for whatever reason, and like I just don't think you can have that type of pacing in a show like that because I don't think enough people are going to like it, and I don't think enough people are going to really get why it's happening.
I think Attack on Titan did that for some episodes. I do remember there being like some episodes where just stretches of silence and everyone's like staring at each other.
Sure. Yeah, that's true.
But like they are far in between. Chainsaw Man does it more often.
Yeah, no, I mean,
Or like
again,
even like brushes over stuff.
like that's another reason why like I would love to see like Fire Punch get an anime, but I'm just like, how popular can Fire Punch get? Because of just like how weird it is and how like I don't know.
I would like if Fire Punch got an anime as well, but it is definitely out there. Chainsaw Man is more grounded.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. I mean, I feel like Chainsaw Man is more accessible.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I would like if they decided to animate Goodbye Eri. That would be really good.
That'd be cool. Yeah.
That'd be a very interesting one to animate. I'd like to see how they would do something like that.
Do you think it could fit in a movie? You think that would be good for it, or?
Like an hour movie, maybe.
Yeah.
Hour 30 special.
And then I was also. Oh no, go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, when you were reading his stuff, just imagine that you're just watching a movie, essentially. Because he'll do that like it's like a movie. Like those pauses and everything.
Yeah.
Like if you're watching a movie, that's like real tension.
Yeah. That's true.
It's like he just decides to do stuff like that. That's it.
The other thing I just wanted to mention was I've been reading a lot of manga recently, right? I've been trying to catch up. The other thing I want to mention was with Oshinoko, right? My Star. not caught up in that. Pretty close. Not caught up though. But what I will say, are you like caught up in that, or do you know?
I'm caught up. It's been on break for a couple weeks.
Okay. Um, where I'm at right now, going crazy, right? What I will say is that the movie arc just started, so that big moment
Okay.
that kind of caused
Okay.
it. That was the moment, right, where I kind of paused and I was like, he did not just do that. That changes like the dynamic of all the characters. Like this to me,
Okay.
you know, like,
I would say if you read the next couple chapters, it pays off.
okay,
It's still, I mean, it's a payoff just watching that happen because we're waiting
okay,
for something like this to happen for a while.
okay, yeah. I mean, because where I'm at right now, to be kind of vague, is casting is pretty much done.
Mm-hmm.
They've like pretty much casted the movie. I don't think they've started to shoot it yet, but like, I don't know. It's crazy.
I'd say a couple more chapters. You'll be good. It'll be fun.
I don't know what like knowledge other people have, but to me, I feel like this feels like the last arc. Like it definitely feels like they're like,
Oh, this is like the end.
yeah,
At least from what I feel, this is like the end.
yeah. And I was like, with what the movie is going to try to be and like the intention behind why the movie is even going to exist is like this definitely got to be it. This definitely got to be the end of the manga, and I'm all here for it. So yeah, anyone out there, go read that as well. Oshinoko, great. Or you can watch the show, but the story much slower because you gotta wait for them to make episodes.
I give the anime credit though. The anime definitely
Anime's great.
knew what they were doing.
Anime's great. I do feel like people fell off of the first season though. Like they watched the first episode and was like, "Yo, this is crazy," and then the show kind of didn't have that tone. And I feel like a lot of
That's the
people,
thing, though.
I don't know. I feel like a lot of people just kind of like fell off it. They're like, "Oh, I thought it was gonna be this." It's like, no. You have to keep watching because it gets crazy.
It's like that's just the hook. Is the first episode. That's what. It's like, and again for manga, just people who read the manga, they know. That's like 5 chapters you read. You were into this for like a month reading this, and you're trying to figure out where it's going.
I felt the same
And
way.
to have all that just going into like one episode, it just feels different.
Yeah. I think
I'm reading week by week when it came out, and I was like, I don't know what's happening here.
I think that's the exact same thing I said to you, where because you recommended it to me, and I was like, okay, this is cool. And then like the one moment happens, and I'm like, oh, this is the hook. Okay, this is interesting. And then the real moment happens that is like the end of the first big episode, right? And I'm like, oh no, this is it. This is why people say this show's crazy. So
It's like that's the hook.
yeah.
Okay, let's just I'll talk spoilers about it real quick.
Okay.
At least for the first episode.
Okay.
So we'll spoiler this. You don't want to hear
Spoilers,
any Oshinoko,
yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Spoiler for Oshinoko.
Yeah.
First episode only though.
Yeah, you just skip ahead like a few minutes, I guess, probably.
Yeah. All the marketing was done on for the show. They didn't market Ruby, they didn't market Aqua. They showed them, but like all of the promotional videos or most of that was focusing on They've even made specific scenes with just just to market the show. Insane.
Which is very smart. Very like.
Then obviously the song for the show, the opening. Did a lot of marketing for that as well. Everyone's like, "Oh, this is nice."
Mm-hmm.
Then the version you get in the anime from episode 2 on fits it well. That's it. That's slight spoilers, not like big, but it's like what I'm saying you can read between the lines.
Sure.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. So
What other manga you been reading up on?
oh, their manga? Let's see. Well, I've just really been catching up and stuff, so nothing new yet. I do have a lot of potential new manga that I want to start. Very excited about, but Let me look at my phone real quick. Actually, I could just pull it up.
I'll tell you, I've been reading a couple. Okay, I've recently been trying to read. I forget the name of this one in English. It's like I'm a mob character in an otome game or something like that.
Sure.
It's another isekai. I was reading that. It's okay, honestly. I don't know how I feel about this one. At first, I felt like it was interesting, and then I realized, oh, the MC is the best character again. I don't know what I expected differently. Read Renai Daiko, or I caught up on that. That's another one of Aka's manga he's writing. So he does some of the writing for that as well. Mm-hmm. And it's a rom-com one. That one's pretty interesting. Catching up on Uzaki. I think I know caught up on Uzaki. That manga's been doing better in the more recent chapters, so I actually give credit to that one.
So you know me, right? It's gonna be mostly rom-com stuff. Aside from mainly rom-com stuff, I did catch up in Spy Family. Spy Family is really good. And then yeah, just like I read we got Nagatoro, which I think it gets like super wholesome, which I really enjoy. What's the English name for this? It just had an anime adaptation. Shoot, I don't remember what the English name is, but I'm not even gonna say it because it doesn't even matter at this point. I caught up in My Dress Up Darling. Very good stuff.
Okay.
Love that one.
The latest chapter for that was good.
Great stuff.
It's building hype. I caught up on Land of Lustrous. That's not what I caught up on.
You know, I do have to just read that. You know, I've been thinking about it. I'm like, dude, losing hope. I just read it. You know. But yeah.
Oh, man. What's my list? Oh, I mean, manga's manga. We do what we do.
Yeah. Yeah, right. You got anything else? Anything else for this episode?
Can let the audience know I'm playing a lot more Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel. I don't know if that's a good thing or bad thing.
Okay.
Because I have 140 hours on Steam. Now that's not a lot, but for me it's a lot.
Jeez. I don't think I've ever spent 140 hours doing anything.
Not even like a recording podcast?
Nope.
Nope. Okay. That's
because on record, only half of that exists.
Okay. But for newer games, I think I can recommend, if you are a fan of the games like Luck Via Landlord or other roguelikes of that similar type game genre loop, Crop Rotation, I think, is the one that can scratch the itch for those people. It's very chill, automated card game, but there is skill involved. I guess skill. What is skill in a game, really? Because eventually some skill just ends up becoming like math in some games.
Math. It's just math. Everything goes back to math.
Eventually some games skill is just math and like maximizing your odds. That's honestly it. You play poker and blackjack, and eventually becomes like, how good are you at math? And are you willing to gamble on the math? That's all it comes down to, really.
Did you watch the that Nintendo Direct?
My brother sent that to me.
Yeah.
He also sent to me the State of Play, which I didn't watch.
Yeah. Not as good. Solid State of Play, but the Direct was way more hype.
I'm excited for Thousand Year Door.
Yeah, Thousand Year Door.
Whatever the unicorn game coming out, I'm excited for that one.
Yeah. Oh yeah. What was? It was Unicorn something. I don't remember. Um,
Those are the two that really caught my eye.
I feel like this direct just proves more and more about how like this is like the end of the Switch.
Switch 2 is happening.
Yeah.
The Peach have to end it.
Peach game. The Peach game though looks pretty cool.
It looks good. It looks
Peach
like they
game
don't want
looks
to the other Peach game.
Yeah. Well, but also like they're releasing Luigi's Mansion 2. It's like, okay, I guess. I don't know who was
A
clamoring
lot of
for
sleeper
that.
stuff.
But yeah.
Should just now be them.
Alright, so that'll probably be it for today. Next week, hopefully, we actually record next week. We'll be watching next couple episodes of all our shows. So it'd be 16 and 17 for Gundam, Summertime, and Nana, and then 7 and 8 for Barakamon. Already, kind of like Ray mentioned, we're already getting close to finishing Barakamon, and then honestly, pretty close to our other two shows except for Nana. So pretty soon, before we know it, Ray, we'll be watching some brand new stuff. That'll be a good time.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I guess that's it. Goodbye, Rayman.
See ya. Don't want to be late to the podcast again.
Oof. Good one. Couldn't think of anything. But yeah, bye everybody. Have a good day.
Bye.